Hey Stoic friends, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever felt something snap inside you and you couldn't explain it? Not just anger, no, something far deeper. Something that felt like a damn earthquake tearing through your soul. Maybe someone brushed you off like you were invisible. Maybe someone raised their voice one too many times. Or maybe someone crossed a line you never thought anyone would dare cross. And suddenly, your whole body wasn't yours anymore. Your breathing's sharp, your heart's pounding, your jaws locked tight like a storm's about to break loose, and you can feel it. You're 2 seconds away from exploding, and yet the world expects you to stay calm. Smile, be the bigger person, walk away like nothing happened. But inside, you're raging, drowning, dying to scream. You weren't born angry. Life built that anger inside you, piece by piece, from every time you were disrespected and told to let it go, from every time you were abandoned when you needed someone to stand beside you, from every moment you were expected to stay quiet while others walked all over your dignity. You didn't ask for the fire, but now it's there, and it won't stop burning. And here's the brutal truth. Anger has ruined you more times than it's ever protected you. It's wrecked your peace. It's shattered your relationships. It's made you say things you can't unsay, break things you can't fix. It's turned you into a weapon, but you keep turning that weapon on yourself. And deep down, you know it. You know it's cost you too much. Too many apologies. Too many sleepless nights staring at the ceiling, hating the version of you that lost control. But what if that stops today? What if there was a way to own that fire instead of being consumed by it? To stop being a prisoner of your emotions and start being the commander of them? What if you didn't need to lash out to be powerful? What if silence hit harder than screams and self-control became your new superpower? Because listen to me, this video is not some cheesy, soft-gloved lecture on anger management. This is not some therapist telling you to count to 10 while your blood is boiling. This right here, this is war. War against the version of you that keeps self-destructing. War against the demon that whispers, destroy everything. We're not here to suppress the fire. We're here to reshape it. Forge it, command it like a sword, and I need you here, fully. Don't skip a second of this. Don't scroll past the pain. The part that stings the most? That's where your healing begins. That's where you rebuild. You're not weak for feeling it. You're strong for facing it head on. So before we go any deeper, lock in. I mean it. Like this video, drop a comment right now that says, "My anger no longer controls me." I do. Then hit subscribe and share this with someone who's been on the edge lately. Someone who needs a voice to pull them back before they burn it all down. Because this is not content. This is a lifeline. This is a mirror. This is you, unfiltered, raw, and finally ready to take your power back. No more blacking out in rage. No more apologizing for the wreckage you didn't mean to leave behind. No more letting someone else's disrespect dictate your reaction. You are not a puppet. You are not their punching bag. And you're done being your own enemy. Stay with me. This is where the storm ends and the discipline begins. You're about to remember what it feels like to be in control again. Now let's go. Number 1. Feel the wave, but don't drown in it. There's a storm that lives inside every man, a violent, venomous wave that wakes up the second someone disrespects you, lies to your face, mocks your worth, or tries to play you like a pawn. It doesn't knock politely. It kicks the damn door off its hinges. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks, your fists turn into stone, and for a split second, it feels good, like heat surging through frozen veins, like justice, like fire in your hands. But here's the razor-edge truth most men never admit. That same fire, it burns you first. It eats your calm, your logic, your power, until all that's left is a wrecking ball swinging blindly through everything you've built. You've felt it. You've snapped. You've barked back. You've thrown words like knives just to watch them bleed. But what did it solve? What did it fix? That brief explosion might have made you feel like a lion, but afterward you're staring at the ashes wondering why you torched the whole damn jungle just to prove you had teeth. That's the trap. That's how weak men walk straight into emotional landmines, reacting fast, bleeding slow. And the worst part, it doesn't end with them. It stains you, your peace, your reputation, your self-respect. And in that silence after the blast, the only voice left is your own regret whispering, "Was it worth it?" Now hear me, anger is not evil. It's not weakness. It's not shameful. It's a loaded gun in your hand. But if you pull that trigger without aim, without control, without discipline, you're just shooting yourself in the foot while the enemy laughs. You don't throw that gun away. You train with it. You sharpen it. You master it. That's what Stoicism is. It doesn't ask you to be numb. It demands that you be unshakable. And Marcus Aurelius, that man didn't waste breath on revenge. He said, "Be unlike the one who wronged you." Translation? Don't mirror the madness. Don't join the circus. Don't dance to the rhythm of someone else's chaos. Let them act wild, you act wise. Let them spill poison, you sip silence. The next time that wave rises, don't fight it. Don't feed it. Feel it. Let it crawl under your skin. Let it beat like war drums in your chest. But you stand tall. You breathe like a monk in hell. You stare it dead in the face and say, "Not today." Not every insult deserves a comeback. Not every provocation deserves a war. Because when you flinch, when you swing, when you scream, you give them the remote to your mind. But when you don't move, when you stare straight through the madness and don't blink, that silence will haunt them louder than any threat ever could. That's the kind of power no one teaches. That's the kind of man this world isn't ready for. A man who feels the wave and still chooses peace, not because he's soft, but because he knows what he could do and refuses to waste it. A man who could snap bones, crush egos, start wars, but instead walks away with fire in his eyes and purpose in his spine. That's discipline. That's Stoicism. That's what separates kings from clowns. And make no mistake, most men, they're clowns in armor, loud, fragile, shaking behind the mask. But you don't need a mask. You are the storm. You don't scream to prove your power. You exist, and the room adjusts. So let the next fool push your buttons. Let them try to throw you off balance. Let them run their mouth, hoping to pull you into the pit with them. But you don't budge. You don't blink. You don't break. You smile, not because you're weak, but because you've already won. You've trained your soul to walk through fire and not leave ashes. And when the wave crashes, you're not drowning. You're the mountain it couldn't move. Number 2. Pain hides behind anger. Find it. Face it. Anger isn't born in the moment. It's dragged from the past, duct taped to your chest, disguised as strength. You're not shouting because someone interrupted you. You're shouting because nobody listened when you were 5. You're not slamming doors because you're tough. You're slamming them because someone left you wide open and never came back. Anger is a scream from your inner graveyard. It's your soul kicking the coffin lid, trying to remind you, "I'm still bleeding in here." You think you're a monster because you yelled? No, you're just a man whose pain has been left on red. And now it speaks in raised voices, in broken relationships, in text messages you regret the second you send. Stoicism doesn't silence your pain. It drags it into the daylight and makes you stare it in the eye. It says, don't bury your wounds in rage. Bury your rage in understanding. And here's the twist that rips you open. You're not mad at her, not mad at them. You're mad at yourself for being too quiet when your chest was screaming, for laughing when you wanted to cry, for letting people walk over your soul while you kept handing them flowers. And now, every time someone breathes the wrong way, that volcano inside you starts to bubble again. You lash out, but deep down, you're just begging someone to finally ask you, are you okay? But no one ever does, so you just break more things. It's not about controlling the anger, it's about finding the ghost behind it. Who hurt you and got away with it? Whose silence shattered your self-worth? Who taught you that crying makes you weak, but bottling it up makes you a man? You want to grow? Then stop pretending you're fine. Trace the rage. Follow the smoke until you find the fire, and then walk through it. Burn your lies. Burn your fake strength. Burn the version of you that learned to survive by staying silent. Anger is your last line of defense when your soul's been cracked too many times. But if you keep punching walls instead of healing what's behind them, you'll spend your whole life bleeding on people who didn't cut you. That's not power, that's pain. Wearing a crown it stole from your peace. Don't hand it over. Grab it back. With force, with fire, with the kind of honesty that makes your bones ache. So next time you explode, don't apologize first. Investigate. Hunt it down. Why did I react like that? What part of me is still bruised? Maybe it's the version of you that was always compared. Maybe it's the little boy who was told he'd never be good enough. Maybe it's the man who gave his loyalty and got betrayal served cold. Whatever it is, don't run. Turn around. Face it like a god of war who's sick of pretending to be peaceful. Because when you stop fearing your pain, it stops controlling your reactions. That's when real silence enters. Not the silence of suppression, but the silence of someone who's no longer owned by the noise inside. That's Stoicism, not indifference, not apathy, but standing in the middle of your inner battlefield, hearing every scream, and still choosing not to shoot. This is your evolution. This is how you stop being a prisoner of your past and become a commander of your future. You feel the fire, but you don't flinch. You let the rage knock, but you don't open the door. You sit with your demons, sip your tea and say, I see you. I know where you came from, but you don't get to drive anymore. That's not weakness. That's emotional dominance, and it changes everything. Number 3, reacting is easy. Responding is power. Reactions are nothing but cheap thrills. They're easy. They come in a split second, like a knee-jerk reflex. Someone insults you. Boom, your fist is already halfway to their face. Someone steps on your pride. You're already shouting, throwing hands, tearing down bridges. Reaction is chaos. It's the fire that burns out before it can even light up the world. But responding? That's control. That's power. That's becoming the storm that the world can't touch. Marcus Aurelius didn't give you a life where you're always in control of what's thrown at you. He didn't say you'll always feel strong. He didn't say life's going to hand you peace on a silver platter. What he said is this: you get to control one thing. Your mind, your reaction. Everything else, it's outside your grip. But your mind, that's your weapon. And when you realize that, that's when you unlock a power that no one can take from you. Let's be honest. When someone mocks you, belittles you, or talks behind your back, there's an instinct that rises from deep within. Your heart races, your blood boils, every inch of you wants to explode. It's the easiest thing to do. It's like lighting a fuse. It burns fast, it feels right, but it leaves you scorched, holding nothing but regret. That's the trap. That's the weakness disguised as strength. You throw your power away because it's easier to react than it is to respond. Now picture this. Instead of flying off the handle, you stop. You pause. You become the stillness in the chaos. You don't shout. You don't flinch. You don't give in. You stand there, looking at them with ice in your veins, knowing that your response will leave them stunned, while their reaction will only burn them out. That's power, not in the reaction, but in the control you choose to maintain. That's the kind of man Stoicism is forging in you, one who chooses the moment of response, not the heat of the moment. Think about the real warriors in this world. It's not the loud ones. It's not the ones who try to tear everything down with rage and screams. It's the silent ones, the ones who stand tall in the face of chaos and never flinch, the ones who don't need to fight to show they're in control. They speak with their presence. They command respect without ever raising a fist. That's the man you're becoming. The one who knows his worth is in his peace, not in his rage. Next time anger knocks on your door, don't answer. Let it scream outside while you sit inside with your own thoughts. Let the storm howl as you remain rooted in calm. In that silence, you are untouchable. You're not weak because you don't react. You're untouchable because you refuse to lose control. You refuse to be ruled by an emotion that has no place in your world. And in that silence, you speak volumes. Every time you hold back your first instinct to explode, you're telling the world, I won't be manipulated by my emotions. I will respond with purpose. I will move with precision. And when I do speak, when I do act, the world will know it's not a reaction. It's a decision. That's a power most will never understand. But that's the power Stoicism arms you with. Anger wants to control you. It wants you to burn, to destroy. But when you respond instead of react, you stop being a slave to that heat. You become the one who controls it. You, the calm in the storm, the fire that chooses when to burn. And that is power no one can ever take from you. Number 4. Control the internal before confronting the external. You can scream at the world, but if you're screaming to drown out the noise in your own head, you're already lost. So many men waste their energy trying to dominate the outside world, barking orders, throwing punches, flexing like they're kings of the jungle. But look closer, and you'll see it. The hollowed-out soul behind the bravado, the vulnerable boy hiding behind the mask of strength. Inside, they're still falling apart. The only thing louder than their noise is the silence within them. The silence that screams, I haven't mastered myself. Marcus Aurelius nailed it. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. It's the man who craves control over others because he's lost control over himself. That's the real loser. You think controlling others is the ultimate flex? Nah, you're just trying to fill the gaping hole inside you that no one else can see. You want to conquer the world? That's cute. But until you conquer the war inside your mind, your external victories are just smoke and mirrors. You're running a race you can never win. Let's be real. It's easy to blame others when you're pissed off. That woman cut you down. That guy disrespected you. They crossed a line. Sure, the world's got its fair share of crap to throw at you, but the real question is, what's going on inside? When the storm rages within you, it's not the outside world that's causing the destruction. It's your inability to tame the beast inside that's putting you on the edge of an emotional cliff. Every time you react out of anger, you reveal just how much you're letting the world control you. When you scream, you've already lost. When you lash out, you're playing by someone else's rules, and you're falling right into the trap. Anger blinds you. It pushes you to act like an animal, to lash out with no thought of consequence. But here's the kicker: the minute you can control the chaos inside, the world becomes your playground. Want to confront someone? Sure, but not when you're blinded by rage. Do it when your mind is clear, when your heart's still, and your emotions are locked up tight. That's when you'll take control, not when you're shaking with fury, saying things you'll regret. When you can speak without shaking, when you can confront without attacking, you've already won. Here's where the magic happens. Control your inner world, and the outside world becomes your chessboard. When your mind is sharp, you've already won the fight. When you stand firm without needing to yell, without needing to puff your chest, that's where real power is born. When you've mastered your emotions, no one can knock you off course. You don't need to dominate anyone else. You've already dominated the only person who matters: you. Master the internal chaos before you ever step out to face the world. You want to control the world? Fine, but make sure you control yourself first. When you can control what's inside, when you hold the reins of your emotions like a seasoned warrior, you'll walk through life with a presence that cannot be ignored. It's not the pride you carry that makes you strong. It's the peace you've earned inside yourself. Number 5. Walk away, not to escape, but to elevate. There comes a moment in life where the most badass thing you can do isn't to lash out, throw a punch, or shout your lungs out. It's to walk away, not to run, not to hide, but to rise. To elevate yourself to a place where the chaos can't touch you, where the noise can't reach you. You're no longer that desperate man clinging to a sinking ship. You're the man who knows when to step off the boat and walk away, letting it sink without a second thought. For too long, we've been taught that walking away is weakness, that real men never back down, that standing your ground means you fight until the last breath, until you burn yourself out. But let's flip this upside down. What ground are you standing on anyway? Is it a place of pride? Ego? Are you fighting a battle that only keeps wounding you? Because real strength is about knowing when to let it go, knowing when the fight isn't worth it. Not because you're afraid of losing, but because you're choosing your peace over their destruction. Marcus Aurelius said it: "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." That's not just philosophy, that's a way of living. The moment you realize the unshakable power you hold within, you stop battling in the mud, trying to prove something to people who can't see your worth. You walk away, and you do it because you understand. Your soul is the most valuable thing you own. You've stayed too long in wars that drained you. You've fought battles that turned you into a shell of yourself. You've explained your worth to people who couldn't care less. And you kept going like a fool. That's not strength. That's stupidity, self-abandonment. It's time to stop pretending like fighting for others' approval is a victory. It's time to recognize your worth and step away from the noise, the drama, the toxic people. They're not worth your time. So you walk away, but not because you're afraid. You walk because you're above it. And when you do, you take your power back. You show the world you're not desperate to win anyone's validation. You've already won because you chose your peace, your energy, your sanity over all of it. Your silence is not weakness. Your silence is strength in its purest form. You don't need to yell to be heard. You don't need to fight to win. You need to walk, to step into your own power. When you leave, you are not losing anything. You're gaining everything. You're walking away from toxicity, from the people who drain you, from the battles you never should have fought. It's not about them. It's about you. You're reclaiming your energy. You're reclaiming your time. You're reminding everyone that you don't fight for scraps anymore. You stand for something bigger than their chaos. You've learned. You've outgrown the noise. Now you rise. Quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. You no longer need their approval. You no longer need the drama. You walk away because you've realized your worth is priceless, and your peace is non-negotiable. So when the anger rises, when the urge to fight and prove yourself grabs you by the throat, just ask, is this really worth my peace? If the answer is no, then take that step. Turn, walk away, rise. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you can do is control yourself and show the world your peace is sacred. You are not weak for feeling anger. You're dangerous. You are a force of nature, untamed and wild. But what sets you apart is the power to control that fury. Every time you choose silence over chaos, calm over fury, purpose over pride, you don't just win, you destroy the old version of yourself. You are no longer a slave to your emotions. You're the master. Stoicism isn't about bottling up your rage. It's about transforming it into a weapon that can move mountains, that can forge your future, and crush anyone who dares to underestimate you. The truth? You're walking away, but not because you're afraid. No, you walk away because you know better. You know that the battlefield is not where others are, it's where you are. And when you choose to step away from the chaos, you reclaim your strength. When the flames try to consume you, you step back and watch them burn out, because you know you've already mastered them. Your fire doesn't destroy, it builds, it forges, it lights your path, and it lights the way for those who follow. So don't just react when the world tries to set you off. Step into your power. When anger rises, you rise higher. You stand in the storm and say, "This is my peace." And when you walk away from the battle, you don't lose, you elevate. You know what matters, and you know who you are. That's the man you're becoming. That's the man who will break through every barrier. That's the man who owns his peace and leaves a legacy of strength. Like, comment, and share if this hit you where it counts. Subscribe for more of that raw truth, because your legacy, it's being forged right now. Don't let anyone or anything take that away from you.